Introduction. Hello everyone. This is a first introductory video on the new methodology for projects planning, management, and tracking. It's called Dependency Flow Planning, in short DFP. To explain this methodology properly and to understand its true potential, I have written a research paper entitled Dependency Flow Planning, DFP, a novel bottom-up methodology for sequential project management, which you can see here. This paper has been published in the Journal of Dalian University of Technology. You may find the link to this paper in the description. In this video, I will go through the whole methodology explanation using this research paper, but instead of only going through the research paper entirely, I will be rather giving you an overview of this methodology and will skip the in-depth explanation of various sections of this paper, since you can go through it later. I will be focusing on explaining what this methodology actually is and how it can be implemented in various kinds of project management. So, this video will be divided into two parts. In the first half, we'll explain the theoretical part of the methodology. And in the second half of the video, we'll be demonstrating this using a live project, which will be a combination of a small content creation project and an event management project. It will be a small example, but will give you a gist of how powerful DFP can be, how easily you can adopt it for your project management, and how it can be dropped off at any point of time if it feels overwhelming for your specific project, so you are not completely restricted by its principles if you have adopted it initially. So, those who don't want to get bored with the theoretical part can directly jump to the demonstration part of the video using the timestamps provided. Also, for the non-taskboard plugin users, since this methodology has been implemented in taskboard for the first time, hence I will be referring to it a few times in this video. This is not a promotion of the plugin. This video is meant for both the viewer, the ones who are watching it to understand the DFP methodology, and the ones who want to understand how to use the taskboard plugin. So bear with me in this video to understand everything. Also, I will be referring to the word team in this video while explaining a lot of concepts. The term team can be either a group of people or it can be a single person, if you are working on some personal project or on some research, but for easy understanding, the word team will refer all these entities. So a complete guide will be provided in this video, but to get an in-depth explanation about this methodology and to understand a lot more about future aspects and its advantages, disadvantages, and how it is compared to the already existing methodologies, all these things are explained in this research paper. Along with that, there are a few more articles written on this new methodology, which are also available in the GitHub discussion link provided in the description. Understanding DFP. So to understand this methodology, first let me give an overview of what this methodology is, how it is different from the existing methodologies, and when or how you can apply it for your project management and planning. And also for tracking, which is its most highlighting feature. DFP is not entirely a new methodology, but its few principles has been inspired from other existing traditional methodologies with some enhancement using digital tools present today, especially digital live canvas. The existing traditional methodologies are either too old for the current autonomous world or are too complex and demands a great amount of time and efforts to adopt due to their difficult learning curve. DFP has been designed in a way that it is easy to understand for any team member, or if you are explaining the project flow to stakeholders, it's very intuitive to grasp what has been presented on the canvas. Also, it's very easy to apply to the project you are working on, and that too at any point of time in the project lifecycle. If the team feels this methodology is demanding extra time or it's simply a burden, then it's also easy to remove from your management workflow very easily, so it doesn't put any kind of enforcement at all. Now, if I had to share a little bit of history about DFP, then it was born from the Taskboard tool. Taskboard is a plugin for a note-taking software called Obsidian. Actually, Obsidian is much more than a note-taking application. You can manage your personal projects, you can do research in the application, you can collect resources, store personal idea, manage your life, and use it as a second brain. Its powers are limitless, and the main reason for the same is because it's highly customizable and user has the complete control over their data. For the demonstration of this methodology, Obsidian was specifically chosen because of its all these advantages and also to showcase how small to big projects can be managed. And the DFP methodology is for the first time implemented inside the Taskboard plugin, which can be easily installed inside Obsidian using the Community Plugins repository, and it can be easily adapted to manage your projects. To learn more about Taskboard and its features, click on the I button above to open the Taskboard playlist. What is DFP? So now, what is this methodology? To answer this question, The core principles itself is enough to tell everything about DFP. But since I am already explaining everything about DFP in this video, it will be much efficient if I first explain how DFP can be implemented to any project. While explaining this itself, I will explain the terminology used and then we'll come back to the core principles, so that you guys can have a better understanding of everything to appreciate the core principles of DFP. How DFP is implemented. Now, the whole explanation in this video is considering that we are going to use a digital tool to implement DFP. Although DFP can be used on a physical canvas, like how Kanban used to work even today, but the full potential of DFP can be only harvested if it is implemented using a digital tool. As explained before, we will be using Taskboard plugin to demonstrate the full potential of DFP. Now the first stage of any project is tasks collection or creation of tasks. So first step you are going to do is simply going to create tasks in your project. It can be now if you are using digital tools, it can be in your any particular file. You can link a particular section or particular file to the particular task and you can just create wherever you are doing your research. It may be in any folder or any file. Or if you prefer to keep all your tasks inside a single file, that is fine as well. Once you have created all your tasks, they will appear on the map. In this methodology, the design of the task cards are very important. They should be designed in such a way that they convey as much information as possible. In this Taskboard plugin, for example, the task card design is something like this, where you get all information, all critical information about a particular task in one view inside a single card. And this is highly customizable card, so you can decide what you want to see, what you don't want to see to reduce distraction, to reduce visual noise, and only put the specific content you want inside this card. Here, as you may see, there is a color indicator on the left side, which changes its color based on the due date. If the task is overdue, then this color will be red. If it's an upcoming task, then it will be green, and if it's scheduled for today, then it will be yellow. Also, the whole card background color can be also changed based on the domain of project this task belongs to. For example, if the task is about marketing or production or development, based on that the background color of the task will be different, just like in Kanban methodology. With time, the UI of the task cards can be enhanced as and how required, but the main idea is to show the critical information as efficiently as possible. Once the task card creation and collection has been completed, when you will open the map view, initially the cards will appear in all jumbled fashion. In Taskboard, initially they will be arranged as they are appearing in the Kanban board, so it becomes easy for you to find them. Now, we reach to the next step, which is defining your first tasks. These first tasks will be called as chal tasks. Now, let me go through the terminology used in this methodology. A chal task is a task which doesn't have any other tasks as their dependencies. That is, they are independent tasks and they are not blocked by any other task. You are free to start working on them at any point of time. And the tasks which are dependent on this chal tasks, that is the tasks which you cannot start working on until you have completed the independent tasks, will be known as the parent tasks. And in a very long map, if say you want to tell about any task on the map, you can either refer it to as a grandparent task or level 2 parent task. We'll see this in future. Also, this terminology is dynamic. What I meant by this is, for example, here in this image you may see, the tasks highlighted in green color are the completed tasks. So, here task D becomes the chal task and task F will be its parent task. That is, the task which you are currently working on will be the chal task. Now, this is a simple map, but in a long map, this dynamic terminology helps to refer to the tasks faster when you are discussing the project with your team. Your team will ask questions like, how many parent tasks does task A have? Which will indicate how important a particular task is and how many tasks are dependent on the task A. Based on the number of parent tasks, it will be necessary to make it a priority and put more stress on that task. Also, your team may ask, how many child tasks does task D have? Based on the answer, a lot of important insights can be found out, and the work can be divided easily among the team members. Hence, this nomenclature can become very useful for such kinds of analysis to communicate the information faster. In this image you may see, we have identified the tasks which are not dependent on any other tasks, or they can be started at any point. Now, there will be many situations where you will find multiple tasks in a particular stage. In this example, we have these 3 tasks as our child tasks now. So, we can arrange them in this column fashion, since we are building the map from left to right. In Taskboard, you also have the option to build the map from top to bottom. So, here, Based on the priority of the task, you may arrange the tasks accordingly in this column fashion. So, all these will be our child tasks now because we have found the first tasks which are not dependent on any other tasks in this whole project or the tasks which we have collected. Again, using the WBS methodology, you can break down this task further to find what are the smaller tasks which you need to complete to start with the task A, etc. But for now, we take an example that task A is an independent and granular task which we can start now directly to proceed with our project flow. You can divide your team into 3 parts and then all these subteams are going to start these tasks parallelly. So these are independent tasks which you collect in your second step of implementation of this methodology. Once you do that, we reach to the second stage where you find what are the next tasks which you should work on after completion of these child tasks. To begin with, simply take one of the child tasks and find the task which should be done after it has been completed and reviewed. And you can connect the link which will flow from child to parent as shown here. Then you repeat this same step for the other child tasks as well and find the parent tasks for them. Now, sometimes it may happen that there will be a same parent task associated to 2 or more child tasks. This is actually a good sign, and map created in this fashion are easy to sustain and a better workflow to manage. Regarding this sustainability and good practices will be discussed, maybe in some other video in future. For now, we can found our parent tasks and have linked them properly. We are clear about our flow of work from our independent tasks to the dependent tasks. Similarly, you have to do these all steps of parent tasks which we just did to grandparent tasks, for better terminology, lest indicate the next generation as level 2 parent tasks. In this example, we only have left with the task F. So this will be our level 2 parent task, and then we can connect the link like this as shown in figure 9. For huge amount of tasks, you will repeatedly going to do these steps to create a final map until you feel the flow of work is correct and there are not endpoints and stoppage of work anywhere. This process is actually easier than it looks. You just have to start with the steps and in few minutes your map will be ready as you will think more and more about the execution of the project. Another important advantage is, this flow won't be restrictive. Since it's a live map, you can add a particular task between 2 tasks at any task by breaking the link between them and adding the new task card. And the rest of the map will remain undisturbed. Basically, once you feel that the map is ready and the project flow looks good after proper brainstorming and discussing with the team, you are free to start with the execution of the project. And the addition of more cards in between cards, etc. can be done later at any point. But for commercial projects, this practice will be highly avoided to maintain the project deadlines and avoid taking extra workloads. For those situations, a properly planning analysis should be done beforehand, before starting the execution of the project. Now, this was the whole implementation process of DFP. But DFP, unlike other methodologies, can be used for project tracking as well. Because of its live canvas feature, you are using it as a one source of truth, the dashboard to communicate a great amount of critical information faster. This is the power of the latest digital tools which are now every big software is trying to adopt and which has been used by DFP to revolutionize the project's planning, management, and tracking workflows. Core principles of DFP. So, to sum up everything here are the core principles. The first principle is the child to parent flow. Using this flow, you are focused on the current state of the project or the tasks and the next logic tasks which you are going to take into account instead of worrying about the whole project. Your flow is clear and the work started is destined to be completed with the correct order without the wastage of any manpower or time in prematurely starting the unnecessary tasks. The logical sequence helps you to be productive and focused on the present and not constantly worrying about the execution and whether the workflow will going to work or not. The next principle is strict, enforced dependencies. Using this principle, you are adding strict rules on the execution of the tasks. Based on your project execution flow, you cannot start working on any parent task nor you can mark them as complete until you have completed all its child tasks. And to this you can add an extra restriction wherein the completed child tasks should also be reviewed, so the parent task can be started working without any hurdle. Task Board has this feature built in to restrict you from marking any parent task if the child tasks are still open. The feature is also available in the Kanban view. And in the demo, we'll also show how you can move the task to review. Then after proper testing, it can be marked as completed. The last core principle is the visual canvas and mapping. Well, we have already seen the mapping part and it is the most essential part for creating a continuous flowing map is. But the visual canvas is the most essential and highlighting feature about this methodology is, as I have talked about this before, this live canvas in the digital world has the potential to revolutionize project management. And because of its live nature, all the changes from all the team members in a collaborative environment are always live, providing the latest true status of the project at any stage of its execution. From the example provided in this figure, if Team A suppose starts with Task A and Team 2 starts with Task B, and if Team 1 completes Task A, but Team 2 is still in working on Task B, then Team 1 cannot start working on Task D until Team 2 has completed their work. So this is kind of creating restrictions for your workflow where a team or a person shouldn't start any task prematurely until all its dependent tasks has been completed. This also helps to find out the bottlenecks inside the team and where the work has been in halt and the project is not progressing. This live canvas helps to find out such bottlenecks so the team can quickly focus on the hurdles and overcome them faster. That's all about the theoretic part of this methodology. Now let's implement it in a simple real project. Adopting DFP in real project. Alright, now let's get into the practical understanding of DFP methodology. To demonstrate how you can apply DFP using the Task Board plugin, I have a simple and small project with me, which is actually a combination of few related tasks and an event management. It's actually the release of Task Board version 1.8.0. Let me show you the project. So, here I have a folder called Task Board, where I keep everything related to my Task Board plugin. In this folder, I have created a folder 1.8.0, which will contain everything I need to properly release the version 1.8.0 of Task Board. If I open this, you may see I have different files here, which contains the content for various posts, release notes, and other things. Here, I have created a single file to begin with, to note down all the tasks which are pending with me for the release. As you can see, I have here on top all the work which is pending. Each task represents the individual work pending. For few of the tasks, I have created subtasks to further divide them into separate tasks. Here, we should note a very important point, that is, for Task Board to show these tasks inside the map view, the tasks must have a unique ID on them. It's not necessary that it should be an incremental numeric ID. It can be any random string of numbers and alphabets as well. But only the tasks with ID on them will be shown on the map view. And if you have created these tasks using the Task Board feature, then an incremental numeric ID will automatically be applied to them when you are going to create a new task, or even when you will be editing an existing task. In future, a lot more features will be implemented to make the importing of tasks process on the map view faster. But it will be recommended to always apply a unique ID to every task you want to manage through this plugin in Obsidian environment. Also, Task Board has a feature wherein you can hide multiple properties present on the tasks inside this editor to reduce the distraction from this unnecessary metadata content. For now, they are simple tasks with no property on them. And looking at them like this, even though I can figure out which task I have to complete or start with first, but still it will get complicated when I will add more tasks here. Also, for now all the tasks I have added in this single file, but moving forward, it'll show how I will be adding more tasks in different files in this project. So, now, let me first open the Kanban view. Here you can see, I have an already configured board which implements a tag-based workflow. There are these columns also called lanes to indicate the different stages of tasks execution. Since now nothing has been started, they all are in the pending column. Also, the board filter is set to only scan tasks from this folder where my complete project exists. So, now as you can see, Kanban methodology is great to manage and track a lot of kinds of projects, and it has been implemented by almost all big companies to manage their projects and work with team, etc. But even with new advanced tools, it's still difficult to figure out which among these tasks are independent tasks that you can simply start with, and which of those independent tasks are high priority ones so you can give extra attention to them. Even with advanced filter per column or advanced sorting, it still needs a lot of efforts to go through each of them one by one in this column fashion. But what if all these tasks were arranged in an open canvas, so you can look at them at one glance, move, and arrange them as you like and easily organize them and then plan the flow? Hence, Kanban methodology is not the most optimum method to use for managing such kinds of project. This has also been explained in detail inside the research paper. This is where DFP, or in other words, the map view feature, will help you. To do this, we have to switch to the map view of this current board. Once we switch to map view, we'll get a view like this. As you may see, the tasks are initially arranged in a particular order. If I zoom, here you can see all these tasks in one single column fashion, and they are exactly in the order in which they are present in the Kanban view. But if you already had started your project and your Kanban board has tasks in its various column, the tasks here will also appear in the same order. But this is only for the first time opening this map view, and it doesn't matter, as now we will be going to arrange them the way we want, and as per the steps prescribed by the DFP methodology. So, when you are going to open this map view for the first time for your new board, they will be arranged in this fashion. Now, it's the time to apply the first step of DFP implementation, which is finding the independent tasks. So, let me find the independent tasks for this project and collect them together on the left side. Alright, now these are here my independent chal tasks. Right now I only have one independent task and rest of them depends on something or the other. Now, the next step is to find the tasks which has been blocked by these chal tasks. That is those tasks which I cannot start working on until I complete these chal tasks. So let me find them and arrange them to the right of these chal tasks, in a column fashion which will indicate the next stage of the project. Now, I have found the parent tasks here, as you can see, and I have also connected them to the child task I have here. Similarly, I have to repeat this same process to find the higher levels of parent tasks. So now, let me find if there are second level of parent tasks and also if there are third level of parent tasks and so on. Alright, so, you can see on top here, I have my project execution plan ready. Since I did not have much tasks in this project, hence I was able to finish creating this map very easily, and also since I already know the flow of these tasks execution, so I did not have to think much. So, this will be my main project for creating the content for the new version release. But you can also see that I have created another map at the bottom here. This below map is actually the event plan. That is, these are the things I will be going to do one after another when I will be releasing this new version of Taskboard. So, this example shows you both a content creation project and an event planning project. Actually, if you want, you can move this second map inside a different board as well, but for the purpose of this video, let it sit here. And let me just turn off this animation. So once I have completed with this main content creation project, on the day of the release, I will be using this event plan map to execute each task one after the other. And this arrows of this link indicates the direction of the flow of execution. Again, if you want to visualize the direction of these links from parent to child task, then you can reverse this arrow direction from the setting, just for the sake of visualization. Rest of the working will going to remain the same. Now, as you can see from this content creation project, I have this first task which is completing the release notes for this version release of Taskboard. And my project demands me that I cannot start working on the thumbnails until I complete the release notes content, because basically all the rest of my post's content and the thumbnail design depends on the content of the release notes. Then, after I complete the release notes content, I can start working on the thumbnails. And since I have put this main thumbnail task on top, so I will start working on it first. But if I just look at my map, I can also see that, coincidentally, this task is a child task from two parent tasks in the next stage. That means this child task is blocking two other tasks. Hence this task should be completed properly and as soon as possible, so I can free the flow of the project and can start with the rest of the later at any time. Also, this task here, Post for Socials 2, has two child tasks, so this task is a little heavy work and I can decide accordingly which task I should take next, to not burn out from this work. So, this map helps me to have everything in front of my eyes, to understand what amount of work is pending and how I can take it up as per my preferences. If a team was working on this project, then in that case the work should be divided accordingly and the focus should be put on the tasks which are blocking more number of parent tasks. And then lastly, once these two tasks are completed, I can start working of this Post for Socials 3 task, and once that is done, finally, I can start on the video creation task. This last task is actually a project in itself, so I can decide whether I should divide it further or create a new board for it and link it here to this task. Right now, all these tasks cards look simple. They're not providing any information because we haven't started the project, or in other words, they don't have any properties on them, and also those properties are not updating. So, let's see few features which will explain the third principle of DFP methodology, which is the live canvas. And, also, just want to show that this tool has also implemented the restriction feature, wherein, say if I am unaware that this task was blocked by other tasks, and if I had tried to mark it as complete, in say Kanban view or something, then user will get a message that it cannot be marked as completed until I finish with its child tasks, as you may see in this notice here. This feature can be disabled if user don't prefer it, but it's very essential for this methodology, as it helps us to be organized and feel the satisfaction of completing tasks only if we have truly completed the tasks in order and properly. So now that my mapping has been completed and all the child task has been connected to their parent task and the dependencies has been added, my flow is complete. And now the next stage is execution of the project. So, let's see how that will work. Let me switch back to Kanban view, and now you can see in the task cards we can see the child tasks as well. So, in Kanban mode also, to some extent you will get the information of which tasks is blocked by how many other tasks, etc. Here we can see that this task dependent on this task with ID 6 and this task ID 6 is again back dependent on 4 and 5. So you can see the whole flow here, and also you can quickly open that specific task to add more information, more resources, comments, or change the properties, everything. So now as my flow is clear and I know that this task is not dependent on anything. So now I can start with this task directly. So to do this, at present we don't have drag and drop, but which will very soon going to be implemented. For now we can do this. Since this is a tag-based board, I can simply add work in progress tag to this, and this will going to move this task to this column here. So, let me add a WIP tag to this task. As you can see, when I added a WIP tag to this task, it got moved from the backlog column to the work in progress column. And you can also see that the background of the card has been changed. This is optional and it can be enabled and disabled from setting. Also, the colors for the specific tags can be changed accordingly. So, it's highly customizable. Now, this is very easy to understand from Kanban. But now what information will it provide if we are viewing it in the map view? So, if I now switch to map view, here we can clearly see that only this first card is of different background, and based on the configured color code, we can quickly make out that this task is work in progress, that is some member of the team is working on this task, etc. So, this is a nice information to have, but let's do some more progress and then we'll see how this map view will help to get more information. Now let's start adding scheduled and due dates to these tasks, so we can make this project a time constraint. So, to this task let me add a due date of today. To this task, let me add a due date of tomorrow. For this task, also let me add a due date of tomorrow. And to this task, let me add a due date of yesterday. Alright, this much is enough for now. Let's switch to the map view and let's see what information we can get from it. So, here you can see now, the changes we have made from the Kanban board are also reflected on the map view. In Kanban, the lanes helps us to understand which tasks are under which stage. And there it basically helps us visualize tasks in groups. But, here, we can get the flow as well as the same information of which tasks are in group using the properties on them. Like which tasks are in progress, which tasks are scheduled for today, and whether the work on them has been started or not, and which tasks has been overdue, and whether they have been reviewed and marked as completed or not. So, you may see that this task has been overdue, but it has neither been moved for review nor it has been marked as completed. So here we have our first issue in the project workflow. Next, this task, Post for Socials 1, has yellow color indicator bar. That means it has been due for today, but still has not been moved in the work in progress stage. Another discrepancy in our workflow. Moving to next, this task here is scheduled for tomorrow, since its color is green, so we don't have to worry about it today. Similarly, This another task also has green indicator bar, so it must be scheduled for some day in future. Hence no need to worry about this. So, just by having a single glance at our map, we found two issues in our project workflow. That is, a proper workflow has not been followed by the team, and hence we can take the necessary actions and connect with the team to get the flow on track. Also, more feature-like, we can have selective animations and configured colors to these links, so we can do this same analysis and possible more even faster when the map sizes are huge. So, this is what the live tracking of projects feature I was referring to as the third principle of DFP, and how powerful it can be to not waste a lot of time on this kinds of simple analysis part of our project management, and you can actually put your time in the creative work of the project. Now, let me quickly mark few tasks complete to show you another situation. So, here you may see that this parent task is dependent on these two child tasks. One of them has been completed, but the other one is still in review state, and because of that the team cannot move to start working on this next task. So here we are adding this extra restriction of reviewing. If everything looks good, then only mark the task as complete, else we cannot start with the next work unnecessarily. Okay, let me also quickly show you why you specifically choose Obsidian for demonstrating the true power of project management through Taskboard plugin. So, oftentimes, when I'm doing some research or working on some content of some small part of the whole project, I get stuck somewhere. For example, here, let's say I'm reading this content, and while writing it itself, I realize that, to provide a better information here, I should research about this concept here and then add the content about it or modify this content. So, I can simply create a task very easily here. Using the shortcut key, I can create the task and write about what I have to do at this specific place in this file. No need to switch to different view, open any window and then create a task and link this specific section of this file, etc. Simply create it here. Also, if you want, you can add priority or specific tag like important, urgent, etc. Now, when I will switch back to the Kanban, here you can see the task has appeared here. Now, if this is a very important task, for example, you can see now this is the task which is currently in progress. But while doing this in the file, I realized I should first complete this task now. So, this ongoing task is not dependent on this new task which was born while I was working on the project. So such kinds of situation can occur in various kinds of projects. Of course, for business critical projects, in such situations will be highly unacceptable because of major impacts on deadlines and all. But for personal projects and research and the projects which doesn't bound by strict deadlines, here, map view comes to rescue. So here let's switch to the map view. You may do this in the Kanban itself, but it's much easier in the map view features. Here, what we have to do is, we first will import the new task since it doesn't have ID on it. So, you can make use this import panel here by clicking on this button. Then if you can't see your task, search for it. Also note that only the tasks which you have filtered for this specific board will appear here and not all the untracked tasks. So, once you can see your task here, simply click on it and it will show up inside the board. Now, we have to add it here and we'll link this new task as a child task to this currently work in progress task. And we have to change the progress of this task to on hold, and the status of this new task will be changed to work in progress. So, as you can see now, the map has been easily changed, without affecting the rest of the map, and we also have added the necessary restrictions to easily orient our flow. Again, if you want, you can keep this parent task status to work in progress itself, since it's a bigger part of this child task, but the restriction will always remain that this parent task cannot be completed until this child task has been finished. So, this is the power of a live canvas, especially if you use it in a collaborative environment to broadcast and visual the live status of the project and what changes and going on, and can take immediate actions if something is out of track. Then you have the power to work with multiple people, multiple teams all together, if it is a huge project, and you can open this map view, which will refresh in real time and will give you a real-time status of your whole project flow. So that was all in this demo, how the whole DFP will work in efficiently planning, managing and tracking your project workflow. Discussion. Now let me quickly go through these other sections of this paper to give you a quick summary of it. Let's start with the comparison with existing methodologies section. So this section starts with first comparing the already existing methodologies, their advantage and disadvantage, and how DFP can help to fill the bottlenecks in all these methodologies and can provide a one workflow to have benefits of all these methodologies. Also, it's not always necessary that DFP can replace all of them. For example, DFP is not meant to be a substitute for methodologies like CPM and PERT. And also, there is a workflow wherein the benefits of DFP can be harvested the best when used along with Kanban, what we just saw in the practical example. So this comparison here is just to make you aware of the existing methodologies and to give overview about them, and to explain how DFP is different from most of them. Let me quickly go through each of them, but you may later read this section in detail. So work breakdown structure, in short WBS, is basically breaking down a bigger task or project into smaller and granular tasks, so it's easier to complete them. You have your complete original task and you basically break down this task into smaller tasks and you complete them one by one, and then basically once you complete all these smaller tasks, that leads to the completion of the main task or the project. But this methodology lacks the dependency management. So it doesn't help you in how you can manage dependencies and how you can correlate between these granular tasks and creating a flow of tasks. So, it can help to understand the order in which you should complete the tasks. It is a very simple methodology and usually not used for managing bigger and complex project. And DFP itself can make use of WBS, because even after say you have collected your tasks on the canvas, you are free to break down a particular task into its smaller equivalent and easily delete that bigger task to create a better chain of tasks. Next is the comparison with Kanban methodology. Now, as we have seen how Kanban methodology works hand-to-hand with DFP in the previous example, the only difference or bottleneck of Kanban which is solved by DFP is the planning of the dependencies and creating a strict enforced chain of tasks. So, Kanban doesn't help with either visualizing or planning the dependency flow of the project, and DFP solves this issue. So, it's up to the team whether they want to use DFP alone or make use of this synergy of the two methodologies. Okay, coming to next comparison is with the PERT charts. Now, PERT and CPM are almost similar methodologies and they are developed for specifically the initial analysis of the project planning and not exactly for the project planning. What I mean by this is, CPM has various mathematical tools which helps you to arrange the tasks in a map view, but instead of dependencies, each of the connections in this map indicates a flow of the project, that is, it may or may not enforce a restriction for completion of the child task. Also, it usually should be present as a straight path, because here you are trying to lay down all the possible paths which will help you to reach to your project completion. So, a start and an end point of the project should be clearly defined here. And then based on the time each of the path will take, you choose the shortest path, which will need less time and less resources to reach to the project completion point. Similarly, PERT was also developed to solve this analysis problems, but PERT goes one step ahead and introduces the dependencies as well, which are also of two types, a normal dependency and a dependency without resources. Due to this, both the mathematical and practical analysis part for this methodologies becomes overly complex, and it demands for your time and effort to first learn this methodology properly and also during the implementation of it. Additionally, even though this methodology was developed for purely the initial analysis part, to find the best critical path for project completion, few organizations has modified it to also be used during the management and even tracking phase of the project. But a global principles for the same doesn't exist in any literature. So, DFP cannot be a substitute for these methodologies, since DFP doesn't have any principles for the initial analysis part of the project. Although it's possible that you may use the canvas of DFP to put down all the possible paths which can lead you to the project completion. But it's not advisable, as for big and business critical projects, it's important that you should make use of the traditional methodologies to find the critical path. And once you have identified your critical path, that path should be used for planning and tracking using DFP. So, DFP is designed in this way, since a lot of projects do not require such a complex analysis, and also it avoids this phase of project management, so it can be easily adopted for your project management. Lastly, we compare the Gantt charts. For this, let me use this figure to explain it clearly. You may see we put down our tasks in this calendar sort of format, where the task spans across days, and then we connect these tasks to one another using dependencies connections. So, you may see that DFP will almost feel similar to this methodology, But the bottleneck of this Gantt charts is that it's a schedule-centric, which enforces a criteria on the team that all the tasks which you want to put inside this chart should have a fixed time duration on it. So the start and end time of the task should be clearly mentioned. This restriction breaks the flexibility in the management for the team, and it becomes very difficult to think clearly and visualize the tasks which are currently present on the Gantt chart and which are not yet scheduled. So, this methodology is only useful for time-constrained projects, where a particular task or the project should be completed by a certain due date. DFP in future can be enhanced to also work along with Gantt chart, so in future prospects of DFP, Gantt chart integration can help to visual tasks which are specifically time constraints. But if the project contains both, tasks with a fixed timeline and tasks which are not scheduled yet, for such cases, DFP and Gantt charts are not compatible yet, and few more principles might be required to be added in DFP to make it happen. Limitations and challenges of DFP. Now, talking about the limitations and challenges of DFP and what pointers you should remember while applying this methodology. If I have to talk about the first limitation, then of course, if your project is nonlinear, then this methodology cannot be used for those. Since the map view is basically a free-flowing canvas, it can become overly complex and will be very difficult to manage. Because, for visualization purpose, you might keep on adding tasks inside the map view, but if they're isn't any linear flow for the project, then the arrangement of the cards will not make much sense. And that might lead to getting the whole map view complex, and which might also complicate a lot of other things, and it will not help in any way for the project planning or management. But again, it completely depends on the project and the preference of the user, the preference of the team. So, you may try it out for your particular project, and if it is not working, it's easy to drop the methodology at any point. Also, I just want to mention, there is also an article, the link provided in the description, where you will find that how a map view can be used as Kanban itself, which will feel like a physical board but inside a digital tool. So what I mean by that is Kanban was initially developed decades ago, which was using a real-world physical board and sticky notes to implement the Kanban methodology to the project tasks. So we used to write tasks on these sticky notes. We used to write important properties about the task, like due date, tags and everything, and then we used to stick them on the physical board. And still a lot of companies today, it's still the practice used because it is like an old kind of habit we have, and it helps us to get more feel of when we have something physical board present in front of our eyes. I am not sure how effective this will be inside a digital tool, but I have seen in the past that few Obsidian users were using the official Canvas plugin as a Kanban board, so thought of sharing this idea. You may go through the article to understand more about this. Okay, let's come back to the limitations. The second limitation or challenge of this DFP methodology is potential for over-planning. So it's like any other methodology, there might be a scenario where you will try to put everything on the map view and try to find out the most critical path or best way to plan your workflow. So again, as I said, it's again up to you. You might use it for this job. But DFP is not meant for analysis purpose. That is the initial phase which big companies and critical projects uses to find the best path or flow to complete the project. For such analysis, you may use the CPM or PERT chart methodology with their mathematical models to find the critical path. But I haven't seen a lot of projects using this, so if you want to use DFP for your personal projects and small projects with not major business impact, you might not worry about this part. And the third challenge can be scalability for very large projects. So while DFP can be used for large projects, a single massive DFP canvas will become unwieldy, and it might look like a confusing spaghetti chart. To solve this issue, you have the option to use multiple boards, divide your project into sub-project and create multiple boards for them. Or you also have the option to filter out specific tasks to focus on specific domain of the project or specific part or subpart of the project within the same canvas, if your tasks has proper tags on them to classify them easily from a particular domain or sub-project. You have multiple advanced filters for the boards, so you can make use of them to avoid these kinds of overcomplication, like massively putting a lot of tasks on your canvas. So always project management should be easy, and it should be kept simple and very clear to understand, and the flow should be easier to visualize. Lastly, just to mention an implementation challenge, then yes, this methodology might not be that benefic to implement using physical boards. Obviously, you have the option to create paper sticky notes and create the links using marker pens and everything on a real whiteboard. But again, you will lack the features of live canvas and real-time changes, etc. So you will have to manually update all these properties and all the links. So that might be not much beneficial. So the real power of this methodology can be only harvested if you use a digital tool to implement this methodology. A lot of big softwares have started integrating Canvas features for various jobs in their software. So if you are already using Canvas inside various such softwares in your professional work or in your personal projects, then this methodology should not feel an entirely new concept, as the Canvas has already become a common way of interactions in these various digital tools. So, the projects with a lot of dependencies and which demands for a proper visualization flow, for those projects, this methodology can be very useful. And then summary and key findings. You can go through the whole paper summary, key findings here, and contribution to the field later from the paper. Conclusion. So, have I proposed this new methodology through this research paper? The next step is implementing this in various types of projects and doing the analysis to find how productive this methodology actually is compared to the traditional previous methodologies you are using. How DFP along with Kanban methodology together is helping you in your project management. Or whether DFP alone is sufficient for all stages of project management, at least for specific types of projects. How you can calculate the productivity, compare how faster you are able to achieve your goals using this methodology. So these kinds of supporting papers can be published by citing this paper. By using this DFP methodology, and more research can be done in this field. Also, empirical validation can be utilized to do a proper analysis and find the theoretical as well as actual benefits of DFP. So I hope you have got a little bit of idea of what this methodology is. You can either start it for planning, you can start it for management, you can also use it for tracking if you have completed all your planning part in using Kanban or other methodologies. Anytime your project, if you feel it is a little bit getting overwhelming or it is consuming more time in terms of management compared to the actual execution of the project. So I am proposing this methodology and inviting researchers, academicians, and users of task management and planning tools to use this methodology. Try it out through this taskboard plugin, or if you want to develop it in a different software. And any feedback, any suggestions on this methodology you may share through articles and posts inside the GitHub discussion link provided in the description. Also, improvements for this plugin, more feature ideas, and all the things you have to share are most welcome. Feel free to reach out and join the discussions to share your ideas and share your suggestions. And if you have written more articles on this, or have created YouTube video to explain this methodology for your specific setup inside Obsidian, you can share it on the discussions, and I'll be happy to publish them on the official website of the taskboard documentation under article section. Thank you.